Did you have side income in 2021? If so, it's going to be taxed. Take one of these action steps to help reduce that tax. Coming up. My name is Mike Bernard. I'm the host of The Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. All right, did you have side income in 2021? That's, sort of all the rage, and I love it. Sort of love the trend of, hey, I've got some spare time here and a skill here, or I'd like to develop this business over here. Let me work my job, okay, getting paid and having benefits and all that sort of stuff, but then also have this side work that I'm doing. Love this trend that is going on. So did you have that? If so, it's going to be taxed. It's going to be taxed this year, okay? And so much so that the government's going to try and look at all of our bank accounts, any transactions over 600, to try to snuff out who got Venmo'd, who got paid for something and didn't report it. Okay, I'm not going to go into that. That's a topic for another video. But if you had side income, you're going to be taxed on it. You have to report that on your tax return, on your Schedule C. And how that works, it's self-employed income. So you have to report that revenue, all of it. Yes, not just what you get a 1099 for, but all of your revenue. You're signing saying, I'm reporting all that income that I received for mowing lawns or whatever your side hustle is, handyman, whatever it is. Okay. Deduct all of your expenses, work with your CFP and CPA to make sure you're capturing every possible deduction that you can, and then that net amount, all that revenue minus those expenses, that's your Schedule C income. It's going to land on your tax return. It's going to be federal taxed and state tax if you live in a state with state tax, but then you're going to have a self-employment tax on that as well, which is basically FICA times 2, okay? For your regular hustle, not your side hustle, you pay FICA and your employer matches it, okay? 7.65% up to 150 grand, around there, okay? 7.65% is your FICA and your employer pays 7.65 as well. I'm not gonna go into all the details, but 6.2 of that goes to fund Social Security on the first 150 or so that you make. 1.45 goes to fund Medicare, all the way up to infinity, and your employer matches that. Well, for a side hustle, for self-employed, you still have to pay those taxes. It's just all on you. There's no employer match. You pay them. So 15.3%, that's your self-employment, okay? So let's think about this. Say you're in the 22% tax bracket, have 5% state tax, so that's a total of 27. Add 15.3% on top of that. I'm not going to do that math. It's a lot. You pay a lot of tax. You pay a lot of tax on this side hustle. It's good. It's good spending your time. If you can earn $100 in that hour, yeah, you got to give maybe 60 cents or $60 to the government. You keep 40, but I'd still have 40. You still have $40 in your pocket versus nothing. Okay, so that's good. The point here is you're going to have to claim this money on your taxes. If you don't need to keep the money in your pocket, what should you do with that money to help it, from being so taxed or having such a high tax when you file your taxes? Is there something you can do to shelter some of this money? Yes, there is. So if you have a side hustle in your regular hustle, you've got benefits and a 401k plan, all that sort of stuff, then what you need to do with this side hustle money is set up a SEP IRA, a simplified employee pension, a SEP IRA. You won't be able to set up your own 401k because you already got one, okay, through your main hustle. So set up a SEP IRA. Now, what's really important is if it's a side hustle, you're not going to have any employees or whatever, right? That's usually the problem with setting up a SEP IRA for your small business. If you have a small business and you've got a bunch of employees, likely you shouldn't do a SEP. But for a side hustle where your main hustle has 401k and benefits, your side hustle should have a SEP IRA. You have the ability to save up to 25% of what your profits are. You can contribute that into that SEP IRA. And all of a sudden, that 25%, that contribution you make into your SEP IRA becomes a deduction on the front page of your tax return, helping you avoid federal taxes and state taxes if you owe them. Fantastic. That's a huge, huge deal. Could be a huge tax saver for you if you said, well, I've got my regular hustle, now I've got my side hustle, I've got a lot of income this year, I don't need it, I'm not gonna spend it right now. Sure, it'd be nice to have it sit in my bank account, but what if it's sat in my retirement account? If so, let's not pay the tax on all that money this year. Let's defer some of it, set up a SEP IRA. The great news is you get to fund the SEP IRA up until your tax filing deadline, including extensions. So even if you don't get your taxes done by April 15 or whatever they come up with this year, because they always seem to delay it, if you say, well, I've got this side hustle income and that's going to complicate my taxes, I don't even have them done by April 15, you extend your return, you can extend the time in which you fund this SEP IRA. So you could use dollars that you don't even earn until next year to contribute to the SEP IRA. Work with your CFP, see if this makes sense for you, and then exploit it, use it. Use it to improve your tax situation. So that's the action I need to take, but I'm going to throw a couple other ideas at you if for some reason the SEP IRA idea doesn't make sense. All right, if this is your side hustle, but at your main hustle there is no 401k, then you should open a single K. And I just did a video about this a few weeks ago. You should open basically a solo 401k, your own 401k for your side hustle. Why? Because you can't just contribute the 25% like you can with the SEP. You can do the full $19,500 for 2021. You can do that full contribution plus a 25% profit share. You can contribute more to a solo K, single 401k, self-employed 401k, whatever. You can do more than just the SEP, but that you can only do that if you don't have a 401k, or you should only do that if you don't have a 401k at your main hustle. Work with your CFP on that. A couple other ideas. What if you've got this side hustle and you're like, yeah, still this side hustle plus my normal hustle, I'm still in a low tax bracket. Mike, everything you're saying, the SEP IRA or whatever, that's all pre-tax. I don't need pre-tax. I want to save this money for my retirement, but I don't need the tax deduction today. Then fund the Roth IRA. Or consider opening that single K and do it at a company that allows a Roth single K. All right, and then fund that retirement account after tax, so the money grows tax free. Okay. Two last ideas. If you say, okay, that's too much. That's too much complication. I don't want to worry about this SEP IRA and setting something else up. I've got my side hustle, but then my main hustle, I have a 401k. Well, I've got this income over here. Increase your 401k contribution. Increase it. Now, it's not going to help you much for this year because there's not much time left. So you increase your 401k contribution. It's not going to make much of a difference on this year's tax return. That's why I put that idea last. Or if you say, I'm already doing as much as I can to my 401k, but if you're married, then this side hustle income, have that, offset some other income and contribute more to your spouse's 401k. Have them contribute more to their 401k. Maybe if they're not contributing at all, they can start contributing, get a company match, and then you guys offset that smaller income with with your side hustle income. Make sense? Lots of creative ideas. I threw a lot at you there. First, consider the SEP, but the whole thing you got to talk to your CFP about. Work with your certified financial planner, because this idea, any of these ideas, are dumb if they don't make sense in the context of your entire financial life, okay, all 6 areas. So work with your CFP on that, see if that makes sense. If you don't have a CFP, as always, you can contact one on my team, find us online, Korhorn.com, that's Korhorn with a K, wisemoneyshow.com, you can find us there as well, or give us a call, 574-247-5898. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.